Okay, this is volume of pyramids. So the formula for our pyramid is V equals 1/3 capital B H, where that capital B is the area of the base. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to do is there's 3 types of pyramids. There is a rectangular pyramid, a square pyramid, and a triangular pyramid. And that is all based on the base of that pyramid, which would be down in here. Okay? So our first example is an example of a rectangular pyramid. And you can see here where the base of it is a rectangle. So for this one, we have formula is our V equals capital B, sorry, let me erase that, 1/3 capital BH. So because it's a rectangle, its length times width is the area of the base, so it's 1/3 length times width times height. So we're going to use all 3 of these numbers. So we have 1/3 times 3.2 times 1.4, and our height, which is right here, is the 2.8. In this case, I would use the 1/3 because it's going to be easier to multiply, because in rounding to the nearest tenth, we are going to need that big old long number. That big old long number is 4.181, and the 3 is going to repeat, so I'm going to use that bar so I don't have to write that big old long number. But now when we are rounding to the nearest tenth spot is this 1, so I'm going to look to the right, and that 8 is 5 or higher, so that 1 is going to change to a 2. So 4.2, my label is inches. And again, because it is volume, it is to the 3rd power. So that is how we are going to do all of these. Okay? So that is for a rectangular pyramid. Our next example, example number 2, is an example of a triangular pyramid. And that is because our base here is a triangle, right there. Okay? So we have our volume equals 1/3 capital B H. So now we have 1/3, and then it's 1/2 base times height, because that's the area of the base, which is a triangle, times the height of the pyramid. So now we can replace our works. We have 1/3 times 1/2. Our base is 8.1. Our height of that triangle is 6.4. And then the height of our pyramid is 11. So now, again, I can multiply all these numbers together all at once. So I'm going to do that. So 1/3 multiplied by 1/2 multiplied by 8.1 multiplied by 6.4 multiplied by 11, and we get 95.04. And then again, we're rounding to the nearest tenth, which is our 0. So going over to the 4, it's under 5. So that 0 stays a 0. So it's 95.0 meters cubed. So that is our triangular pyramid. Okay. Our next example, example number 3, is again another rectangular pyramid. So we have volume equals 1/3 base times height. So 1/3 length times width times height. So let's substitute all that in. So we've got 1/3, 23 times 14 times 25. So let's put all that into our calculator here. So we've got 1/3 multiplied by 23 times 14 times 25. And in that we get 2,683.3 repeating, but I'm going to bring this out, and I am just going to put the dots here because we want to round it to the nearest hundredth. So I got to bring it out at least to 3 decimal points, because here's my hundredth spot and I've got to look to 1 spot to the right. So now when I round it, I have 2,683.33 yards cubed. Okay. My next example is example number 4. And I believe this is our last example. And again, it's our triangular pyramid. And we have here, and notice you can tell the height because of our box here, of our box right here, and the height going up with right there. So our volume equals 1/3 capital BH. So we have 1/3 times 1/2 base times height, and that's for the triangle. And then we have the height of the pyramid itself. So now we have, as we replace it, we have 1/3 times 1/2. Base is 6. Height is 7 of the triangle. And can you interchange them? Yes. If you took 7 for the base and 6 for the height of the triangle, is that okay? Absolutely. But what you can't do is the height, no matter what, is of the pyramid is 6. That's absolute. That does not change. Okay? So now when we multiply these together, so we have 1/3 multiplied by 1/2 multiplied by 6 and multiplied by 7 and then multiplied by 6 again, we get 6/7, which is okay, but we've got to change that to a decimal. So 1/3, I just want to make sure that this is right, 1/3 times 1/2 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 6. Oh, okay, I knew something was wrong there. I knew I didn't do something right. So the answer there is 42. I knew Mrs. Smythe didn't do something right. And that is feet cubed. Okay? And that, I believe, is our final example for this lesson.